All right, there we go. We are live. Looks like Allison has jumped right in. Good to see you, Allison. Appreciated your comments in the paid subscriber chat earlier today, or maybe that wasn't paid subscriber. I think that was just a subscriber chat. We're going to just wait a few minutes so that everyone that gets notified that would like to attend has a chance to enter the room. I know, Allison, that you, like me, are a grandparent. This is the most wonderful time of the year for folks like us. Hope the little one in your life, or maybe it's little ones at this point, are excited about the holiday season. If you want to drop a message in the chat just to confirm that you can hear and see me okay, that would be awesome. And I'm just going to kill a little bit of time while we wait for folks to join, and we shall see what happens. Probably not the best time of year to be scheduling lives. People are wrapped up in other things, including the end of the year festivities and madness. But we'll see. You just never do know. It is a gray, rainy, sprinkly, warmish for this time of year day here. What's it like where you are, Allison? I don't think we had some snow earlier this season, but it doesn't look like we're going to have a white Christmas, which makes me sad, but hey, we'll just have to deal with it. We're going to end up going to Nashville for Christmas anyway, so it will be okay. Looks like we're about 2 minutes in. So, Allison, you're giving me the chance to relive the glory days of my music career where I was frequently uh, encouraged, invited to enjoy and embrace the sound of one fan clapping. So, no snow in your forecast either. Well, damn, who knows? Maybe there will be a Christmas miracle. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started, and we'll see what happens because the whole thing about doing work that matters is that this might not work. We'll find out. Welcome to Creative on Purpose Live. Creative on Purpose is a publication dedicated to helping purpose-driven difference makers make a better living by making a bigger difference doing work that matters with people they care about. So I'm speaking specifically to people that are solopreneurs, creatives, coaches, teachers, healers, course designers, etc. And today, we're going to talk about why underpricing hurts everyone involved. So, the context for why I'm going live on this topic today, hey, Dr. Angie, is that when I am working with purpose-driven solopreneurs to help them build a business that better funds and fits the lifestyle they actually want and gives them the lifestyle freedom that they actually want, pricing is often one of the things that comes up as the biggest challenge. And it's something that's very top of mind for me. For those of you that are subscribed to the Creative on Purpose Substack, I posted publicly, I think it was on Tuesday, it might have been yesterday. I think it was actually yesterday, published on Wednesday, an announcement that the pricing of the paid tiers for the Creative on Purpose Substack are going up at the end of this year. And this is not a broadcast where I'm going to justify any of that. I don't feel like I actually need to do that. I published my reasoning very transparently and as generously as I could in yesterday's post. And then I sent members of the Circle and Inner Circle community, the uh, the annual and monthly subscriber paid tier and the founder level tier a thank you today. I also sent something to my most engaged free subscribers, sending them a thank you for everything that you've done. All of your participation and contribution has made the Creative on Purpose publication more valuable. And so this is not in any way a justification. what I want to talk about is something that I know to be a shared concern amongst lots of purpose driven people who are generous and talented and considerate and compassionate and want to make a difference. And all they ask is that they make enough today to do it again tomorrow. And so this is going to be more of a riff, probably turning into a rant about the shared struggle that a lot of purpose driven solopreneurs have around pricing. So most of us were taught or were not taught to price our offers with any kind of integrity. We're taught and we're actually programmed and conditioned by biology, evolution, and society to avoid discomfort. And pricing is something that makes us feel very insecure. It makes us feel a little unsafe. And so we all struggle with this. So today, my purpose is to just talk a little bit about the lessons that I've learned about around pricing, some of the things I teach my clients and the members of the Circle and Inner Circle community here at Creative on Purpose and all the free subscribers here as well. We talk about pricing quite a bit. And what I want to do is normalize and name the real tension around pricing. The struggle is mostly around the fact that most of us, most of the time, are underpricing our offers. And underpricing has nothing to do with generosity. In fact, we often over deliver on free and low priced content to the point of promiscuity. We give and give and give and give way too much. And sometimes we end up giving out. And that's because of fear, uncertainty, and the fact that if we give away everything for free or give away our most valuable content at an undervalued pricing, it feels safe. It's false security. So again, low prices feel safe, but they actually and high pricing often feels risky. And I totally get that because I've experienced that. I've been just as guilty as anyone of giving away too much for free and giving away some of my most valuable content or coaching or resources or processes and frameworks for a price that's does not demonstrate or signal their actual value. So, the other thing is that when we are getting started, of course, we have all a very good reason to be uncertain about the value because maybe we have not earned a preeminent position in our marketplace. Maybe we are actually still figuring out our offerings or figuring out our audience, figuring out how we put that offer in front of that audience. Maybe we're just trying to figure out what it is that we have to offer. And so we don't have a lot of confidence when we set our initial pricing. And then we have a lot of anxiety and fear and uncertainty around adjusting or raising our prices because we think because we're being kind by continuing to offer a much higher value product or service at our extremely low price. But we're actually just avoiding it because we're scared, and it's actually causing not just harm to us and our bottom line, but it's causing harm to those that we seek to serve. So the real tension around pricing is that we don't talk about it enough. We don't have enough good learning out there about how to think about pricing and how to price our offers. What ends up happening is we listen to the digital marketers and online gurus that tell us things like people who pay attention. And therefore we set our pricing maybe artificially high. Or we think that, oh, I'm going to sell something to people that have money because that way I can charge a lot. Or we listen to someone that says the only way to make a decent living as a solopreneur is to offer high ticket services. And so we create a $10,000 a year, a month mastermind. And then we are shocked and dismayed when people purchase that and are not happy with what they purchased. The truth of the matter is that that dogmatic advice that people that pay attention is absolutely false. Now, in transparency, I don't actually have a high ticket offer in the usual sense. I don't have anything on offer publicly or privately that is priced at like a 5 or 10K price point annually, monthly, or anything else. My very highest ticket offer is only available to members of the Circle and Inner Circle community, and it's a 1K a month offering that delivers a ton of value. I see Penny Harris is here. She can tell you she's one of the people that is currently working in my highest ticket program, um, and for the most part, uh, what I have found is that when people that do have the resources, financial resources, to pay for something that's high ticket without actually hurting themselves or risking their financial situation, they are paying because they don't want to pay attention. They're actually paying they're paying to so that you can help them save time, effort, attention, and they see that as a way of saving them money. So they will pay more so that they don't have to pay attention, so that they can save a little bit of time, save a little bit of energy. So just a quick rant on whenever you hear people that pay attention and use that as a justification for increasing your pricing, I would encourage you to at least second guess that reasoning. I would actually encourage you to just run away. So getting back to the whole tension around pricing and underpricing, we underprice as a hedge to our sense of security, in our reputation, in our perceived level of kindness, in in an effort to maybe hedge against what we believe is our actual value in terms of what we all have to offer, whether that's a product or a service. And then we avoid raising prices when the value is clearly demonstrated and maybe validated by case studies and social proof, because we think if we raise the prices that we're being unkind or unjust. And so we avoid any kind of price increases because we're scared. I'm going to give you some practical ways of thinking about this, a very counterintuitive way of thinking about some of this, and hopefully give you some information and inspiration that will help you avoid the perils of underpricing or avoiding the fraughtness of pricing your product or service. So here's the way I want you to think about pricing, and this is probably going to create a little bit of a reframe. This is coming in part from Seth Godin, who is a friend and mentor of mine. Penny is familiar, and Allison is familiar with my association with Seth Godin over five years in the Alt MBA and Akimbo workshops as both participant and coach and head coach in those programs, and then further associations and other projects like goodbids.org. And Seth has a really interesting way of talking about what pricing really is. And he says in the marketing seminar and in his book, This is Marketing, you can see him acknowledge me in the acknowledgments of that book. He says that pricing is a story. And this is something that really flipped the script in the way that I think about pricing. And I would say that another way that I think about it is pricing is a signal. So you have to decide what the story is, what the signal you want to send is around what you price your offer at, how you present that offer and pricing, and how you communicate the value, your perceived value of what you're offering to the right people. And so what you're doing with pricing, when we say pricing is a signal, pricing is a story. Well, the most important story is pricing is a signal that informs the story that the person that you consider a prospect or a lead or is on the cusp of becoming a client. It's a story they tell themselves about their perceived value of the transformation you offer through your product or service. The story is the story in their head. That's the most important story. So you have to be really thoughtful, deliberate, and diligent about the story that you're telling with your pricing because it informs the story in the marketplace amongst your quote unquote ideal customers, which don't actually exist. That's why they call them ideal. Um, but the B message and the subtext is it's also reflecting the story that you tell yourself about your perceived value of the product or service that you offer. And so it's kind of a double edged sword. And again, why you should be paying a lot more attention to your initial pricing and how you think about if and when the pricing should be adjusted, usually through an increase. So the pricing is signaling and telling a story about the confidence you have in this in your offering and the transformation that it can provide and the seriousness of the commitment that you have in delivering that promise, but also the seriousness of the commitment of those you seek to serve and enrolling in the journey, leaning in and doing the work necessary to get that transformation through engagement with your offer, your product or service. So one of the things that happens when you underprice your offer at the outset is that you think you're sending a signal that this is inexpensive and therefore accessible, but it's probably actually landing as this is something I can ignore because nothing that's priced that low can deliver the kind of promise that it's making to me. So Seth Godin frequently says, pricing, going for cheap pricing is a race to the bottom. And the problem with the race to the bottom is that you might win. And even worse, you might come in second. And you want to make sure that you're clearly pricing your offer in a way that signals and tells a story that builds trust. And trust is going to spread and grow much faster through demonstrated value than it is through persuasion. Especially, again, if you follow along the things that we're talking about recently in the Creative on Purpose Substack, specifically the Transcendent Solopreneur section of the Substack, you'll see that the whole marketing system that we build has nothing to do with funnels and digital marketing tricks like ideal customer avatars, niching, which is a trap, power offers, and launch calendars, and that sort of thing. We actually maintain and assert and have proven that the fastest path to cash is to have conversations that demonstrate value and deliver value at every stage of the marketing to sales sequence. Marketing earns awareness, attention, trust, and permission. And that if you do that correctly through conversation and deliver real value and real transformation in the marketing phase, you have built a bridge right to the sales cycle, which is I'm interested in what you have, I'm enrolled in the journey you can take me on, and I'm ready to invest. And it will happen in the most frictionless, easy, and fast way possible. So again, price is a story that informs how people relate to your work. You have to choose that story carefully because when you choose your story, you choose your future. And if the price doesn't reflect the value initially or when it's time to reconsider your pricing, people will assume that the value that you're articulating is not real. Choose your story, choose your future. So the mistake that we make around pricing too low, giving away too much for free. I'm a big advocate of delivering free value, but you have to know where the line is between this is what I do for free and this is what I must be paid for. The mistake that you make in your the mistakes that you make in pricing your offers is going to create real friction that can be really difficult to correct later on. And so, if you believe that once you set your price, it's fixed forever, that's a mistake. Cars don't cost the same now that they did 20, 30 years ago. And yes, inflation and all that has something to do with that, but it also has to do with quality and delivered value. So, as the value of your offering compounds, the price needs to reflect that increased value. And when pricing lags too far behind the actual delivered value, it creates incoherence, which only increases the confusion and uncertainty in the minds of the people in your market that who would actually benefit from investing in the transformation on offer through your product or service. So staying cheap after as the value increases is actually eroding trust. It's going to hurt your bottom line, and it's going to hurt your ability to connect with more of the right people. So again, keeping your pricing artificially low after value has been increased isn't generous. It's incoherent. You look confused. You look less trustworthy. And integrity, which is something that's really important to those of us who consider ourselves purpose-driven difference makers, requires that you adjust pricing accordingly as value increases. So I want to just acknowledge a couple of folks that have come in. So Allison jumped in right away. Thank you, Allison. You were the first dancer. Then Dr. Angie was the second dancer. And then looks like Praneet came in, the third dancer, and it started this avalanche where now we have 8 dancers. If you're not familiar with the dancer analogy, just Google third dancer Derek Sivers or Seth Godin, and you'll find a really fun rant about that. Bree, who is a client and a member of the inner circle, says 100% conversations are the path, and they are difficult. Yes, they are. Although, Bree, we talk all the time. We communicate all the time. Maybe it's just a matter of getting the reps in and communicating in the right way. Who knows? Sunil, great to have you here. Dr. Angie says, the race to the bottom, being cheap, feels hard to climb out of. Great. That sets us up for what's coming up. So thank you for that, Dr. Angie. So the fear that nobody names is this emotional resistance that we have to raising prices when we know that the value delivered is way out of sync with the price of our offer. We think that we're going to lose approval. We think that we're going to be misunderstood and feel like people are going to think that we're being unkind. We have people. I'll share some stories about this, about the recent price increases for the Creative on Purpose paid subscriber tiers. I mean, people will say, oh, you've changed, or oh, you're not being fair, or oh, you're acting like just another digital marketer. Growth always changes the relationship. The people, what got you where you are will not get you where you want to be. And the customers that got you probably are not going to be the customers or clients that are going to get you where you want to be, or maybe they're just not the customers and clients that you're ready to serve now. We have to accept that everything changes. My favorite pre-Socratic philosopher, Heraclitus, said it best. Everything changes. The universe is flux. So not everyone is meant to come with you. I'm very lucky in that people like Penny have been with me literally since the very beginning. Bree has been with me for a very long time, and I know that some of the other folks that are here, like Allison, have been following along and with the free content for a long time. And I'm incredibly grateful for the people that have maintained their relationship with me and their interest in my work for a long period of time and engaged with it as rigorously as Bree and Penny have. But not everybody is. Unsubscriptions are not only inevitable, they're actually confirmations that you're doing the right thing. Uh, so I'll just tell a quick story, and again, I'm not here to justify the price increasing, on paid tiers for Creative on Purpose Substack. They're still a ridiculous bargain, um, and I provided plenty of time for folks to make up their mind, but I did so out of over 1,000 subscribers who received a notification about the announcement of the pricing increasing. I had exactly one subscriber who wrote me and accused me of using high pressure tactics during the holidays and acting like a digital marketer that was just trying to extract money from the people that trusted me with their email address. Uh, and okay, I understand that. They actually said, "Oh, I've been considering becoming a paid subscriber for a long time, but I'm not gonna now I would never consider becoming a paid subscriber." Well, if they've been considering being a paid subscriber for a long time, and I just gave you a very good reason to go ahead and pull the trigger and join us now before the price goes up in 2 weeks, and you still don't wanna do it, that has nothing to do with the timing of a price increase. That has a lot to do with a conversation you need to have with the person that's looking back at you in the mirror, because it's the pricing increase is actually just an invitation to the people that are ready now to go ahead and get a little extra value by buying into a community while the price of joining is ridiculously undervalued. If now's not the time, totally understand. Continue to consume the free content or go ahead and leave. Here's the thing I want to say about unsubscriptions. The You want to attract the right people, and you want to be in your content, in your pricing, in your messaging about the actual value of your offer, maybe proven through people actually experiencing it, which I give my community plenty of opportunities to experience my competence and my expertise and my authority in the domain of helping purpose-driven solopreneurs actually build businesses that fund and fit the lifestyle freedom that they crave. But you want to be generously polarizing. I know that polarization is kind of a triggering word. I don't mean polarizing in being purposefully triggering and trying to get people to become outraged and divisive and have online, flame wars and so forth. That's not what I mean at all. Polarization is just a fact of the universe. Everything exists because their opposite exists. And when you generously you convey the value of what you have to offer and who it is actually for, and the promise that you make that you know you can keep, you are at the same time defining who it's not for, what it can't do, and by being generously polarizing, you're giving those that would benefit from colliding with you and the difference you can help them make to take another step into proximity and accessibility to you and your product or service. And you're encouraging the wrong people to move along and find the person or the offer that can meet them where they are now. And so I was thrilled when someone that clearly had not been ready, was not ready, and looking for excuse to blame me for not being ready again, they moved on. Fantastic. I wish them well. I hope they find what they need to get them where they want to be. At the same time, if you go to the article on Substack, you will see a number of people who actually totally not only understood the price increase move, but they actually applauded the transparency, the runway, and the way that I demonstrated why I was doing it, who it was for, who it was not for, what people could expect if they enrolled at this time, and so forth. So you're gonna you're gonna get it's going to land one way with the people that you are meant to serve now, and it's gonna land another way with the people that you are not meant to serve now, and good for you. If you get rid of more of the wrong people and give more of the right people a good reason to stay engaged and enrolled in the journey you can take them on, you have a better chance for maintaining sustainability and continuing to enhance the difference that you can make through the offers that you're creating. So, when you are thinking about pricing, I am not a fan of artificial urgency. I didn't put a countdown timer out there. I didn't put out an arbitrary timeline that created a lot of pressure for people to make a decision right now. I didn't have any obscure reasoning. I was very transparent and clear, and it fully explained why the pricing had to be raised in order to close the gap in the discrepancy between the actual value of the product and the perceived value that was hurting me because the pricing was not in alignment with the actual value of what was being delivered. So provide a reasonable explanation, provide a reasonable window of opportunity for the people that should enroll in the journey you can take them on to do so. Uh, I also made sure I locked all of my early supporters in. So Bree is here, Penny is here. We have almost 60 members of the paid tier circle and inner circle community. Everyone gets locked in at the introductory pricing. If you paid $9 a month or $90 a year or $197 for the for the founder level inner circle, that's what you pay for the foreseeable future forever, as far as I'm concerned. And you're locked in for good. And if you decide that you're going to sign up and become a paid subscriber at the circle or inner circle level, you will be locked in at that same rate after the price changes and ongoing. As long as you maintain your subscription, you get to keep the pricing that you have, even as the value has increased of the offer and continues to increase. So I believe that transparency trumps perfect timing. Some people might think that, oh, doing this during the holidays is not the best time. We are talking about something that costs $9 a month. If that can't be prioritized in your budget, then you shouldn't subscribe. You have a bigger problem than being able to decide whether it's worth purchasing now or and save $3 or purchasing later at a slightly higher price. So the bottom line is your audience deserves clarity and not comfort theater. I'm not here to make anybody just feel good about staying where they are and staying stuck. I'm here to help the people that are ready to enroll in the journey I can take them on, invest in themselves, and start closing the gap between where they are and where they want to be with the greatest ease and velocity as fast as possible. Checking the comments here. Bree says, "You never pressure. I had to ask for a link to pay." Thank you, Bree. Excellent point. Um, I never send anyone a link for any kind of offer, even a free offer, until they ask for it. You will never be pitched. You will never be hard sold by me, and you will never be invited into a discovery call or a sales call with me. I don't do discovery or sales calls. I give free coaching away through email, through an email exchange. I mean, like really high quality, good coaching for free. And at the end of that coaching, if I have delivered on the promise I made about getting you clear about where you actually want to get, where you actually are, and what you can stop doing and what you need to do better, and I give you a roadmap that will get you there, you will get an invitation to consider a low ticket continuous program of doing 5 more coaching emails over 2 weeks. And if you want that, you'll have to ask for it. And as Bree said, you might have to ask for it twice because I want to make sure that you're fully enrolled and invested before we actually work together in any kind of paid offering, even $100 paid offering. Larry says, you don't find collectors, they find you. I say this as a gallery artist, but substitute collector with your tribe. Your voice is the filter you want. Good advice. Thank you, Larry. I think there was a something that was maybe misspelled there because or maybe I'm just old and confused. But I think you're right. Like your audience finds you because you show up where they are and you demonstrate and deliver value to them, usually for free. And the right people, one of the things that we say in the purpose-driven prosperity model operating accelerators, you don't have to build a funnel, create a power offer, create an ideal customer avatar, or create an offer launch. You can make a very good living and get increasingly good at what you do and save a lot of time, effort, money, and attention by just showing up where the people you seek to serve are, show up as you are with what you have, do your thing, deliver on micro promises that you can keep, and your people will find you and they will ask you how they can continue working with you. So that's some of the insights I have about pricing. Again, pricing is a story. Choose your story, choose your future. If you're undervaluing your offer by trying to go win the race to the bottom by pricing based on being the cheapest, your problem is you might win, and that means that you actually will lose. That's not a game that's worth winning. It's not a game you probably want to play. You can actually make a better living and a bigger difference by pricing your offer in accordance with the actual value it delivers, the transformation on offer, the transformation that you can promise and deliver on. If you know that you can deliver a transformation, if someone actually invests and enrolls in the journey you can take them on, you need to make sure the pricing rises to the value of that transformation. It will attract more of the right people. It will build sustainability and viability in your business. And it will ensure that you just continue to not only enhance the value of your audience, but that you continue to work with more of the right people, less of the wrong people. So in regard to just, again, anecdotally, I want to invite anybody that wants to drop a question in the comments here to go ahead and do that. But I'm going to be wrapping up here shortly, unless someone has any questions. But if you're connecting pricing with the clarity to the ecosystem in a natural, organic way. I didn't decide to raise prices. The work evolved and the value of the transformation increased in value, and that required an update. And the timing of that update is less important than the transparency of delivering why that pricing increase is happening. You need to make sure that you're taking care of the people that were the early adopters and the innovators that bought your thing before it was maybe proven, and make sure that you take care of those folks. But you aren't obligated to maintain your pricing for everyone just because it's the pricing that you started with. You're actually going to be doing yourself a disservice. So as the Circle community, and again, people like Penny and Bree joined in the conversation, elevated the discourse, created tighter bonds within the community, the value of that community and the 3 calls that we have every week, the value of that has been so enhanced that it is impossible to square keeping the price of that community at the same rate it was at the beginning when we just had a handful of people that were joining the calls every week. We have almost 60 members of between the Circle and Inner Circle community. I think we have 15 Inner Circle community members at this point, and they also have access to those weekly calls. And then we have, again, 45 or so people that are members of the Circle community that get access to the weekly premium content and the community calls. And so as the value of something increases, the price has to come up to reflect that. Otherwise, you're going to continue to get more of the wrong people and send the wrong signal. Pricing is a story. Choose your story, choose your future. What's the signal that you want to send to the market, to the people that would actually, whose lives would actually be enhanced by colliding with you and the difference that you can make? So pricing increases become unavoidable when the value of the offer is enhanced to the point where the pricing no longer sends a confusing or uncertain signal about that. And so I hope that that all helps. I see Lisa, who is also a member of the Circle community, just joined in. Let's see. Penny says, I have never experienced working with Scott about money. My learning has been way beyond what I have paid. Thank you, Penny. I appreciate that. And that's always the goal. When you when you make promises and keep promises about the transformation that's on offer by engaging with your product or service, the price of that offer becomes any discussion becomes unnecessary. It's inconsequential, because people are not paying you for time or the features and benefits or the amount of information that you share with them. They're paying you for your ability to deliver on transformation. In the Inner Circle, we spent the last couple of weeks really dialing in and distilling the purpose-driven prosperity model operating system into a 3-hour accelerator, so that anyone that wants to start designing or wants to redesign their business to fund and fit their lifestyle freedom that they started their business for in the first place can do that in a matter of hours or days instead of months or years. That value for the right people is priceless, because a lot of folks that I work with have been struggling with their business for 2, 3, 5, 10 years and more. So it's not about the money that people spend. It's not about exchanging your life, the hours of your life for dollars. It's about delivering transformation. And when you recognize that, price based on that, and make and keep promises, pricing becomes inconsequential. Dr. Angie says it's comforting to know that although we lose folks, we gain relationships that are a better fit. I avoid the pain of losing people. We all do. That's totally understandable, Dr. Angie. We are programmed to be nice. We want to be liked. And we feel that if we're not liked, or if, that we risk being ostracized from the tribe, that we risk our sense of belonging and affiliation, and that's simply not true. When you are generously polarizing and make sure that your value is demonstrably delivered to the right people in the right way and the wrong people in the right way, you'll get more of the right people and encourage more of the wrong people to move along and find the person that's right for them, or find the offer that's right for them. And so many times you will see, as you know, you can look at your subscriber numbers. Yes, I lost one free subscriber who complained about the price increase. I gained 4 paid subscribers through either upgrades from Circle to Inner Circle, or free subscribers to become Circle or Inner Circle members. Well, if I lost 1, but I gained 4, that's a play I would make all day, every day for eternity. And I'm getting more of the right people into the room on the weekly calls. I'm getting more of the right people into the room on the monthly deep dive workshops. I'm getting more of the right people on the inner circle Q&A and hot seat calls. Lisa says, I doubled my portrait prices this week. All of my AI engines told me to at least double my prices. Got my first paying client with the new price last night. I love that. And it's so often true. It's so often true. I just raised the prices on my publication. I just increased my paid subscriber membership. Um, Raising prices will attract the right people and it will repel the wrong people. Alice just joined. Alice is also a client and a Circle community member. Great to have you here, Alice. We're actually just kind of wrapping up. I'm just looking at my phone here for some of the other questions that are coming in through direct message. What feels hardest about charging what your work is worth? Yeah. So again, pricing is a story, and you can tell yourself a story about what your work is worth. But the story that matters is the story that the market tells them about what your work is worth. And that story is going to be more aligned and be more and inspire the right people to take intentional action to increase their proximity and access to you and their interest and investment in you if you demonstrate that value. And that's one of the reasons that I don't teach any copywriting hacks. I don't teach any landing page engineering or architecting or anything around website copy or any of that. Like if that can be useful, that can be important. But what matters a lot more for purpose-driven solopreneurs is how quickly can you demonstrate your ability to deliver the promises that you make about the transformation that is on offer through your product or service. And we have a process where for a very small investment of time, effort, and attention, you can demonstrate competence, expertise, and authority in what you do with a very quick initial email or message exchange, or it could be an in-person exchange. Move folks into a next phase. So the first phase is helping people see what they're actually trying to accomplish, where they're starting and what they're starting with, eliminating all the things that they don't have to do, and showing them the pieces that need to be done better in order to collapse time to target between where they are and where they want to be. You then move them into an assessment audit phase where you provide them with a roadmap of the 2 or 3 things they need to work on to actually start collapsing time to target with ease and velocity. And you do all that for free. Because if you actually deliver on that transformation and deliver on that promise, when you say, if you would like to continue this, I do have a little time right now, and I have a very affordable offer that will continue this work over 2 weeks and 5 emails so that we can navigate any of the inevitable obstacles or opportunities that we can't see right in this moment. If you're interested, let me know. More people will enroll in that journey. Your typical digital marketing funnel that is all about force and pressure and false urgency and scarcity, most of those funnels that go from I opted in for a lead magnet, I went through your stupid email sequence, got bumped into your nurture sequence when I didn't buy right away. I attended your stupid webinar, and then I got to your sales page that had all the perfect copy and perfectly colored buttons, and I bought your thing. And now I immediately regret giving up the leverage of giving you my credentials. That funnel has a 2 to 4% conversion rate on average. The conversion rate that I have between asking or starting a conversation and getting someone to buy a very low priced continuance offer is 68%, and more almost 80% of those people move into a mid ticket or high ticket offer. It costs less time, less effort, less money, and less attention. So that's what I have to say about charging what you're worth. Prove your worth, and then you won't have any problem charging what you're actually worth. How do you know when a price increase is overdue? I think you'll feel it. I certainly have been feeling it for over 6 months now. When I started my Substack, it was a sandbox. I was just trying to figure out what I was gonna do in this next stage of my career as a purpose-driven coach that had a proven track record, validated by a 7-year association with Seth Godin as a head coach and partner in some projects. Um, and I was trying to figure out what I was gonna do next. And a number of people, Penny is one of them, Bree was an early adopter, Alice is an early adopter, that they all signed up, even though I wasn't very certain about what I was doing or what I was gonna be creating next. But over time, thanks in part to people like Penny and Bree and Alice who enrolled and attended and participated and contributed in the community discussions, both on the live calls and in the community chat, they helped enhance the value of the offer for the circle level subscribers, which you can get right now for $9 a month or $90 a year. They helped me decide what are the deep dive workshops, what are the things that the people in that community need to work on right now to collapse time to target between where they are and where they want to be. When I first launched the Inner Circle founder level offer, I didn't have anything in the vault. But thanks to people like Penny, like Bree, who are Inner Circle members, we filled the vault with high quality, high impact, high leverage content that includes edited and enhanced workshop replays, worksheets, uh, a Cornerman coaching app that they can have, that they get prompts to help implement the learning that they just had. They helped me, well, Bree and Alice and Penny all participated in the beta launch of the Purpose-Driven Prosperity Model Operating System Accelerator, and they helped make it a fantastic flagship offering. If I were to price just the accelerator, I could easily price that at $500, probably price it at $997 without any dissonance in terms of the actual value it delivers. It's a part, it's just it's a part of the Inner Circle vault that you can access right now for $197 a year. So knowing that the perceived value was good enough at $9 2.5 years ago, and that it has probably doubled, at least in value, since that time, it was time to consider some price increasing. So I increased the annual and monthly subscriptions by 25%, from $9 to $12, from $90 to $120. And the founder level increased by about 35%, from $197 to $300. But you can jump into any of those subscription levels right now at the launch price of $9, $90, or $197, as long as you do that before December 30th. So you'll know when you know, but again, for 6 months, I've known that my offer, in terms of the paid subscription tiers, is way undervalued, way underpriced. And that was only confusing people. As soon as I raised my prices, or told people the prices are being raised soon, 12 days from the time of the announcement, 4 of the right people said, yeah, now's the time to jump in. Where might staying underpriced be costing you momentum? I think I've answered that question already. What would pricing from integrity look like right now? Yeah, integrity is, integrity is about knowing yourself. It's about being a complete, whole, integrated human being. You have to know yourself. You have to know who you are, what you're actually good at or great at, and where you belong. You belong with people who share your values, your beliefs, your guiding principles, and whose lives would be enhanced by the talent, skills that go into the product or service that you offer. And you have to demonstrate that value to those people in the places that they're already gathered. A lot of times at the beginning, you don't have a lot of clarity about that. So the the integrity move would be to start getting your reps in. Start reaching out to the people who already know, like, and trust you and demonstrating and delivering value to them so that you can quickly enhance your skills, your abilities, and define your unique abilities so that you can start delivering value, create the case studies, create the social proof, create the demonstrated value. And as you do that, the integrity move again is to continue to increase your prices so that they align with the actual value that's demonstrated and you have a proven track record of delivering. So, uh, yeah, I think that's all I have to say. I know that was more of a rant than a riff, but we've gone almost an hour at this point. We don't have any other questions coming in. Alice says, great to see you, Scott. Of course, great to see you always, Alice. Bree says, beta test. Yes, big fan of the beta test. Uh, no. And then I guess I would just leave you with this encouragement. Pricing is a story. It's a story you tell yourself about yourself and the difference that you can make and the value of that difference. But more importantly, it's a story those you seek to serve are telling themselves about the perceived value of the difference that you can make for them. And they will get clearer about and want to get closer to what you have to offer if there is coherence between the price of the offer and the transformation that you can provide, promise and provide, the uh, and the actual value that's delivered. You have to align the pricing with the transformation, and the more coherence you have around that, the less confusion, the less uncertainty you will create in the marketplace, which means getting more of the right people, less of the wrong people, and increasing the ease and velocity of making that difference with and for the people that you serve, and increasing the ease and velocity of your ability to have a business that is sustainable, viable, but also funds and fits the lifestyle freedom that you started your business for in the first place. So that's my little riff rant on pricing for today. For those of you that are interested in checking out what the Circle and Inner Circle communities at Creative on Purpose have to offer, check out the most recent post. I think it was the post that went out on Tuesday. And I will look forward to seeing Penny and Bree and Alice, who are regular attendees of the calls, on Friday for our Friday on Purpose call. And for the rest of you, I just wish you all the very best and be well, do good, have fun.